The best way to learn tennis. And I don't think this has ever been published on YouTube before. And people will probably try to argue with this. The best way to learn tennis is to sit in the front row of whoever you're learning from and watch tennis from that view. It must be in the first couple rows. And this is the thing. Most people that learn tennis, that watch tennis, etc., have never even had this experience. And I'm talking about specifically professional tennis. And in my experience, the best of the best, in my experience, is the U.S. Open. I've never been to the French Open. I've never been to the Australian. I've never been to Wimbledon. I'm assuming that those would be among the top four best scenarios for learning tennis. Specifically, I mean, we're talking about. I think it applies to everyone, but this is my experience. So I'm an advanced player, so maybe an intermediate to advanced player, 4.0 and up. I think this would fit or apply to you as well. But like I said, never been to those events. I have been to the U.S. Open more times than I can remember. And I would also throw in there futures tournaments, challengers tournaments. I would even say college tournaments, and on and on and on. But here's the thing, right down through the levels. But the problem isn't so much the level of those players. The problem is the view. See, when you go to the U.S. Open or you go to a professional tournament, you can get up in the front couple rows. There's no fence in front of you. And when you're talking about watching, think about high school players. If I think of high school players in my area over the years, there's been a few that were in the top 200 in the country as a junior, and I managed to hit with them, which I think is good too if you can hit with them. But specifically from a viewing standpoint, and if I think about it, there is nothing local where I could really, or for the most part, there's nothing local where I can get in the front row without a fence in front of me and watch them play an actual tennis match. At the commercial club, it's it's a bird's eye view. It's up top. You're not down below. You're not right on top of them. You can't get beside them. All those different angles. So there's that. And then if I think of even junior level tennis tournaments, it's the same thing. It depends on the venue. There's one that I was at recently that I've dropped some film of that I haven't dropped all the film yet. They pulled the curtain across, and for one of the courts, you can get right up next to them, front row, as close as you want to get without being afraid that you're going to get hit with the ball. And that's where you need to be. And here's the other thing. A lot of people will be too afraid. A lot of people are too afraid to do that. They'll say things like, well, I don't want to be in their space, etc. Especially if there's no actual seating there. It can be menacing. Even for me, I had to face those fears, particularly for filming. But you don't need to be that close. I mean, just some of these venues you can get up close, and that's where you want to try and get. But again, a lot of people don't have access to that. If you think of the four majors, if you're not close to New York City, if you're in the United States, to get there, it's not as easy. I mean, I can drive there. It's not that big of a deal. And then even some of these futures and challengers, you can't get up. You can't get up close. So, and there's more obstacles. Like I said, it could be the fear of sitting, the fear of getting hit by the ball. I mean, it could be a legitimate concern, even though it would be rare if you're standing right next to them, especially on the return of serve. And the other thing is, a lot of people would be afraid of what everyone's going to think. They might be afraid of what the player's going to think. And here's the thing. The players don't care. Particularly, we're talking about professional players, challenger level, ATP, challenger, futures. Look, if they care, if they say anything to you, I would really just laugh in their face, because here's the thing. They need to get used to that they're projecting a fear onto you. The whole reason they're there is to get attention. And if they don't think so, they're in the wrong place in life, because they need to get attention. They need to be okay with getting attention. They need eyes on them. It helps them. And a lot of them, they don't get that. Screw them, because they're delusional. Same thing with college. College players, you might think, well, they're just playing for their college. They don't realize then if that's the case, they don't realize they're getting paid. They're getting paid to promote the university. And if they don't think that, they're delusional. Their thinking is an error. That's what college players do. They're getting paid. They get scholarships, free. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars, basically, to play tennis for that university and sell that university. That's what they do. And when we're talking about juniors, I think, a lot of them, 15, 16, 17, down the line, 12-year-olds, 11-year-olds, they already know they're going to play Division I tennis. They already know they're going to play in the futures. This isn't the same. It's not the same as watching other sports. And I'm not saying you can do this disrespectfully, but it's the same concept. They benefit from eyes on them. And if they don't think so, they're delusional. They need to get used to it. It helps them. It's a necessary prerequisite to performing well in high-level junior tennis, college tennis, and professional tennis. Get as close as you're comfortable with, and just observe the greatness of the thousands of amazing tennis players that are out there that are not getting enough of your attention.